Welcome back, cheesy minions, to another exciting TheKillerNacho Wi-Fi battle, and I have a battle here against Spooky Skeleton, who I battled, I think, one time in the past, and, yeah, so I think he actually got that battle, so it'd be nice to get a little bit of revenge here, but we'll see how it goes, and, I'm gonna be actually, going with a Mega Absol. I haven't actually used Mega Absol in quite some time, and it's, actually a design I really care for, and being that Megas are probably going away in Sword and Shield, in fact, I think they actually confirmed to be going away, as well as Z-moves, in favor of Dynamaxing. It might be one of the last chances I have to use Mega Absol, so let's go ahead and lead with it. It's a pretty good lead because of the Magic Bounce ability, and he's going to actually lead with a Zelf, which is fine, because if he goes for a Stealth Rock, he'll just bounce them back in his own field. Just going to go for a, actually I decide to go for a knockoff instead of a Sucker Punch. I originally was thinking about Sucker Punch, but no, I go for the knockoff instead, and he goes for the Nasty Plot, so it's an excellent thing that I didn't go for the Sucker Punch, because I was tempted to. You know, thinking, hey, if he goes for Stealth Rocks, he's going to, feel pressure just to attack me, especially here as the Sash. But, he does have the Sash. Unfortunately, obviously, knocking off the Sash happens after it activates, so I'm not able to kill it. But, now I'm going to go for the Sucker Punch, and it ends up working out because the Zelf is going to die, so, or go down, rather. I know people sometimes complain that I use the word die for Pokemon, when they technically faint. Sorry. So anyway, in comes Spiritomb. He ends up having the Roselli Berry, which is interesting. But I guess it does, reduce the amount of power against its main weakness. But, yeah, that's he's just going to go for Will-O-Wisp now. I guess kind of forgetting about Magic Bounce, much to my benefit, because that thing's going to go ahead and burn itself now. And I'm going to be able to get the Play Rough kill now on the Spiritomb. So Mega Absol, a Pokemon I really wanted to use, and is doing really, really well already. Already up 6-4, so, and he's still at full health. But no, in comes Mimikyu, which honestly is one of the Pokemon he should have went into in the first place, because it does have that ability, Disguise, which will let it survive one hit, and obviously hit me back with a Fairy move. I felt like I really did need to break that Disguise, so I ended up staying in, even though I knew it would probably be the death of Mega Absol. Yeah, it's probably, I mean, I couldn't let this thing set up for free. Anyway, so I go into Serperior, which actually is probably a bad, I know it's a bad play, because I go for the Leaf Storm, and I get this, but he's probably going to have the Z-move, which he does, and is going to go ahead and snuggle with me forever, and this is actually a bad play, because I knew I couldn't 1-hit KO it. I should have went in my Blacephalon, which I was, tempted to, but I didn't want to, because, I knew that a Shadow Sneak would do a lot of damage to Blacephalon. It's not very bulky. In fact, it's incredibly frail. So I didn't want to do that, but I really needed to go into something that was capable of 1-hit KOing, because now he can get off the Z-move, and he gets the second kill on my Serperior, which is actually really bad. My Serperior is the fastest Pokemon I had, and it outsped some of his other Pokemon, so losing this thing is not really great. So now I'm going to go into Blacephalon, which, I could have just done in the first place and went for a Shadow Ball to kill it. He obviously does have the Shadow Sneak. I know the Blacephalon can live one as long as he doesn't get like a Swords Dance first. And as you can see, I do live one, but not very well. 13 HP, but I took that damage anyway. I could have easily killed the Shadow Ball earlier. So basically I sacrificed my Superior for nothing. So, yeah. So I get the Beast Boost, which is nice, although he does have this Garchomp, which I assume is going to be Scarfed if he's going into it. I'm just going to try to pop off the Firium Z, which I have Z Mind Blown, but no, he's just going to kill me. So that's fine, except not, because this Garchomp is actually going to be kind of a big problem. I know they just locked into Earthquake now, though, because he did outspeed me, and therefore I know he's Scarfed, so I'm going to go to my Kyurem Black, which is an absolute powerhouse wall breaker, but like I said, I know he's locked into Earthquake. I can take one at least. I'm just going to go for an Outrage myself, and Choice Band Kyurem Black. Look at this damage, nuking a Toxapex. Not many things can nuke a Toxapex from full health, and most of those things have to use a stab super effective move to do it. Kyurem, nope, doesn't need to be super effective, although now I'm at the mercy of his Garchomp being locked into Outrage. I can't even switch out, and I'm just going to go ahead and die with my Kyurem Black, and yeah, that's really bad. I really have to hope Conkel Dur. I mean, I know I should be able to take at least one Outrage, because I know it's Scarf, not Banded. So, yeah, he ends up critting me, and I still live, so that's pretty good, going for the Ice Punch. But that crit actually probably mattered, because his last Pokemon is Greninja, and I do have the Assault Vest on my Conkel Dur, so I felt pretty good about being able to live a hit. But now with that crit, I am down to just 20-something HP. I have to go for the Mach Punch instead of trying to go for some other move. Unfortunately, that Greninja lives with just a sliver of HP. I need this thing to be Life Orb or I just lose, because I know he can kill me with that extra Sentry on my what is it, Nido King, but it is Life Orb! So he ends up killing himself! So, I win! So, yay! That was really close. If that wasn't Life Orb, I probably would have lost that match. Good game. So, today's question of the day is going to have to go back to Sword and Shield, which I've been asking some questions about. So I'm going to go back to the internet backlash, obviously, about the decision to remove some Pokemon. And actually, they seem to be rather hush on, one of the more pertinent questions, just how big will the Galar region Pokedex be? And this is, kind of a big deal. This is a question that they're really weirdly mum about, but it really changes the implications of this whole thing. I mean, if you have the difference between 300 Pokemon and 600 Pokemon would be huge. I mean, assuming that, there's 50 new species, and that is probably a low estimate, 600 Pokemon would mean that we get to keep 550 of the current species, which, is more than about 2/3 of what we currently have. But 300, we'd only be able to keep 250, which is, just as much as was in Gen 2. So this is like really, what's the word? Just a pertinent question, and I have no idea why Game Freak is so hush about this. Considering the internet backlash, you think they would have maybe clarified or given us some kind of hint about how big the Galar Pokedex is? The fact that they haven't said anything is kind of what's the word? Makes me a little bit nervous, but no. I mean, I think today's question today is going to be how much Pokemon do you think is going to be in the Galar region Pokedex, and we can all come back to this video. I suppose when we do get a confirmation when we're, how much Pokemon there's actually going to be, and see who was right. Now, I think the just looking at regional Pokedexes in the recent games, I think the absolute floor for this number is going to be about 450. I mean, if you take a look at the amount of Pokemon in each regional Pokedex, it's been obviously trending upward pretty much in each generation. Obviously it started with 151, then 152, although the number is probably a little bit lower since not every Pokemon that was in the Gen 2 games were capturable in Gen 2. There's 202 in Gen 3, 210 in Gen 4, 300 in Gen 5, 457 in Gen 6, and 403 in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, which is the latest games. So take a look at that, it's a relative upward trend. I mean, I think the fact that there is, obviously going to be this change. Game Freak was obviously out of touch about just how much this change is going to piss people off, piss the fan base off. But they couldn't have been so completely out of touch that they would have noticed that if there was a low amount of Pokemon in these games and a lot of cuts, people would be angry. So I think it's pretty much a lock to be the largest regional Pokédex ever in the Galar region, which honestly just makes sense. Which currently that largest Pokedex number belongs to Generation 6 is 457, like I said. And honestly, this might actually be the best case for a Pokedex to kind of base this off of. It actually had 3 different Pokedexes. It split the region in 3 different parts, you might recall. But a whopping number of 457 species in that Pokedex. And that was obviously Game Freak's first Pokemon game released in for the 3DS. So they wanted that number to be very large, which makes sense. And this, of course, being the first Pokemon game released for the Switch, they'll probably want that number to be large as well. So I think 450 is about the floor we're going to see, and I would guess the ceiling is about 600. 600 being probably a large estimate. If I had to put a number on it, 550 would be the number of Pokemon I'd expect. A good 100 more than the Gen 6 Pokédex, but it could be, maybe it'll be closer to 500. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's going to be at least 500. That is my guess. And, yeah, either way, we're going to be losing a lot of species. And, it's obviously a lot worse if that's numbers on the lower end. Like, can you imagine if there's only, 300 species? It would be just massive worst-case scenario. But I think Game Freak can appease a lot of fans if that number is around 600, maybe even 550. Obviously, you assume that 50 at least of those Pokemon are going to be new. I think we've actually have almost 30 confirmed new species, including evolutions we don't know about yet. So yeah, that's pretty much the estimate I would come up with. I'm interested to see what your guys' thoughts. Are you guys going to be thinking a little bit on the optimistic side or the pessimistic side? Personally, obviously, I hope that the number. Everyone is going to wish the number is as high as possible. As for me, I would prefer that they all are in there, but Yeah, it's doubtful that Game Freak will be able to backpedal that far, considering most of the development for the game is probably already finished. So, yeah, leave a comment about that. I know it was kind of a long question today, like last time. If you actually want to hear my rant about this, my rant about this issue when we first found out about it, check out my video 2 battles ago against Skep Gandy. I went on a huge rant about that, the implications of obviously losing all the Pokemon will have on the competitive meta. But yeah, so this will be an interesting question today, and I will see you guys again next time. Later. Oh, by the way, Miami Dolphins versus 60 Scissors should be Thursday night should be the premiere. Hopefully we can get a much needed win. So yeah, later guys.